the champion of champions.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to another episode of the CCT podcast.
We've got a ton to talk about, man. There's just so much action.
It feels like it's never ending.
Hey guys, we have another interview for you today. Very special guest, Speedy.
First, a funny thing, they also call me Grandpa in my team because I'm so old.
What are your general thoughts on what might come for the next couple of months of CS2?
Hello and welcome everybody to the CCT Online Finals number 5. Welcome to the second half of the day as we continue on with upper bracket proceedings, the semi-final to decide who's going to be the top 2 of the upper bracket, and certainly some interesting matches at play. I'm the Eternal J. I'm joined by Dwight as per usual, and looking towards the final few days of our tournament, the last online portion of CCT about to come to a close. So it's all to play for today.
Indeed it is, and I think we've seen some surprises already. I even look at that last game, I thought Anonymous for sure was going to take Overpass, send it to a third map, but ending up going down 0-2 to the Guild Eagles.
Yeah, especially after seeing them capitulate during the fourth online finals. I wouldn't have thought Guild Eagles would have been able to get as far as they have, but they are still in the tournament. So, of course, congratulations for them to making it this far. Of course, those are the lower bracket games. Our upper bracket games have a lot of importance behind them because a couple of our top contenders today are also in position. And again, you see what they're playing for. That spot in the upper bracket finals and that chance, of course, to crack forward to the grand finals a little bit later on this week.
And it makes you wonder as well. Last time around in the fourth online finals, we had a tier 1 team in Big. Now we've got 2. Now we've got G2 and Big, opposite sides of the bracket. So in theory, on paper, they should meet each other in the upper bracket final, and at least one of them will be in the grand final. But I think if you follow the last few online finals, Jay, nothing is ever as easy as it seems.
It never is that simple, Dwayne. And of course, the losers of these matches will be dropping down to the lower bracket to take on the winners of our earlier matches on today. Of course, you see those empty spots for the Guild Eagles and Saw, and the victors of that, of course, will play in the lower bracket finals and then the consolation match after that. So, again, that's sort of how things are going to play out over the next few days, and as we look towards our second half of the day as well. These are, excuse the pun, the big matches of the day.
Yeah, they very much are, and I think the tier 1 teams have got a lot to prove. I think that they're in positions where they don't often come down to these kind of events, so when they are here, when they are invited into these events, you've got to do well. You can't be going down in lower brackets early on, you can't be losing to tier 2 competition, and I think G2 and Big need to make a statement today.
Well, G2 will be up in action first and foremost, the highest ranked team of the lot here in the bracket, and that does indicate them as being the theoretical favourites in all of their matches, I guess, by default in that perspective. But in terms of the run that they've had so far, Dweg, it has not been easy for G2 to stomp out the opposition as we would have expected.
No, not at all, and I think it shows that the roster change of JKS out and the likes of Nexa in is actually halted some of the results. You look at their opening game against Fluxo, getting taken to 3 maps, the game against Sprout, their map pick going down 3-13, and then map 2, they were up 11-1, and then it went to overtime somehow, and then even the third map decider went to another overtime. I think for G2, you would think that they'd be spanking these teams about getting really clinical and easy victories, but instead it's been quite the opposite.
No, absolutely. I'd say that there's many issues in terms of what G2 have been able to do over the last couple of days, especially you take a look at that Sprout series that everyone was tweeting about, right? Several players and going down to 13-3. You can't look at that and say that it's the most stellar affair from G2 coming into this one. So for Aurora, I guess you could say they've got Wounded Tigers to take on.
And this is a side that is very beatable. Aurora will look at this game against G2 and say, do you know what? It's actually not a bad draw for us. I think when you look at this lineup on paper, you've got a very solid core of Lucky, Nori, and Kenzie that's been together for a very long time. You can even add Selter into the action. He didn't join that much longer after. And then you've got Deco that's been here for, what, just under a month now? And I think everyone knows how strong he was on 1 win. Everyone knows on LAN, on the online atmosphere, towards a higher end of Tier 2, Deco's an incredible player.
And for them, obviously, they've been making their way into this position where they can take on a G2 side. Although I don't think Deco necessarily is the guy that is in proposition to be the star, right? You've highlighted Kenzie for our head-to-head.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that he's not a star player. He most certainly is. I think for Kenzie, though, he's in really good form. And one thing that you're always going to notice from Aurora is you've got a solid rifle pack. Your Kenzie, your Nori, and your Deco, your two sort of AK and M4 players, and your AWP. Between the three of them, they're going to do a lot of heavy lifting. And I think for Kenzie, he was an attribute to their success in the alternate attacks game. He was very strong and consistent in that Saw series. And for Nico, he was probably one of the main reasons that they actually overcame Sprout. He was their top end player. He was putting up a lot of impact, and I think without his impact levels, it could have actually been an upset and forcing G2 down into that lower bracket.
And that's the expected star, of course, for the G2 side. But for my eyes, I'm looking more at Nexus, seeing how well he's going to perform in terms of the overall team architecture. Because, again, that's the most recent roster change. And G2 really need to get a confident win on their board, because that's exactly the opposite of what they've had so far in terms of this matchup. Now, Dwight, best of 3 veto time. We haven't seen any head-to-heads between G2 and Aurora in terms of CS2. So talk me through how this process is going to work.
A Vertigo straight away out for Aurora, and then probably Overpass to go out for G2. In terms of picks, Ancient or Nuke will come through for Aurora, and for G2, they like their Inferno and their Mirage.
And it will be Nuke instead, so neither of those two coming out. What's the curveball here?
I actually do not know. I think this is really silly to come through from G2. I'm shocked that Nuke's come through. Nuke is like one of the best maps in the pool for Aurora. It's their second highest picked in best of 3 history in CS2. I don't know about this. I think this is a massive mistake if you're G2. It shows they're trying to invent the map pool. It shows that maybe they're trying to use these officials as a little bit of practice to strengthen their map pool and to show us something different. But my goodness, playing Nuke against Aurora, that's a scary prospect.
Yeah, I don't know what the thinking is here. There must have been some serious anti-strats or something, or some serious confidence in recent history for G2 to be able to pull this off, because I don't know what the thinking is either, right? We've got very standard first end of the veto with the standard pick for Aurora, and then this Nuke comes out, and it's like, okay, yeah, you've got Inferno to that decider, but considering the issues that G2 have had in the CCT online finals, like, this doesn't feel like a smart idea at all.
I mean, even Nuke, it was the last map, the third map decided that Aurora played against Saw in the last round of the tournament. 13 won them. Just absolutely pumped them. And for G2, this was the map that they struggled against Fluxo on, a Brazilian team outside of the top 100 on HLTV. Yes, okay, it was only Nex's second map under G2. But I look at Nuke, and I think if you are Aurora, you're looking at this one thinking, I don't know how this has happened, but it's great for us. And I think for Aurora, they'll have to look at this position and say, don't even let it go to a third map. Don't even let it get to that Inferno. Look to try and close this in 2.
And they must be looking at those previous results saying that this is a prime position for us to be able to secure one of the biggest upsets in the tournament itself. It's happened, it nearly happened on a couple of occasions. As you mentioned before, the last 2 matches have just been so dire for the G2 side. I don't think the roster move is fully bedded in yet. I don't think some of those standard players are coming out in full force, right? And even some of the guys that you shouldn't be able to see stars out of, they're not even able to contribute in certain capacities. So a bad map here from G2 could really be the difference in terms of this whole series. I really do back Aurora in that heavy capacity. The 1xBet odds, of course, have G2 as the favourites, as you would expect in the Tier 1 environment, but we always see some wild stuff here, and we always see Tier 1 teams underestimate the Tier 2 squads. I feel like that might have come out as a symptom of that veto.
We've only seen G2 play Nuke twice. We saw it once with Nexa against Fluxo. The time before that in CS2 was against Greyhound in their opening game of IEM Sydney. Even that, going up against Greyhound, 13-11. I mean, a very close kind of game, being tested right down towards the end. I think for Aurora, they've even picked Nuke against Big previously, and they've 2-0'd teams like Big. So you're thinking to yourself, if you can 2-0 Big, they're going to be one of the favorites in the event. I think for Aurora, it's difficult to say that I'm going to predict them as a 2-0. I just think right now, with the form that we've seen for Aurora in this event, and the fact that they are an upsetting kind of team against Tier 1 competition, I think this is the best chance they're going to get all tournaments so far to beat a team like G2.
And I think that is the difference maker, and the reason why we are so scared about this result going against G2 is the form running in from the bracket thus far. That's the one crippling point for G2. That's the one strong point for the Aurora side. You mentioned the fact that their run was extremely confident, obviously against Saw in the quarterfinals. That was a 13-7 and a 13-1 at the tail end of that best of 3. A similar story against alternate attacks, 13-6 and 13-3. So they have just been tearing up all the teams. Admittedly, this is a much different and much more higher ranked task than compared to those previous map-ups, but just again, you are seeing a G2 side that aren't playing up to the standard that you should see them. So for Aurora, it might not be as far out of the park as many might think.
I think the difficult factor here is, can Aurora step up to the plate and beat a Tier 1 competition consistently? We saw them only most recently on LAN go down to Furia twice. We've seen them online as well be a little bit inconsistent when it comes to always being able to push these teams to the distance. For G2, this is just another chance to get Nexa involved. It's another official to get under their belt. It's another opportunity before the end of the Christmas break and moving forward into the next year that we see him involved in this lineup.
Yeah, and I do look at that and I consider that position that might be sort of the whole aim of the CCT Online Finals. But of course, G2 certainly have a lot to live up to in the grand scale of things. We're ready to get into our first map between them and Aurora. So, Ancient, first map up to play for. G2 will be on the CT side start of things. How far do we see this whole thing going?
I mean, for me personally, I feel like I have to give a 2-0 right here for Aurora. And I think for G2, this is an opportunity to prove us wrong and to prove that even the lackluster results earlier on in the tournament won't come into the fold today.
We see the early pistol plays from Hooksy in that mid position, trying to catch information with the taps of the P2K and hoping for some headshots, but they are going to storm and rush him down. Nico instead into the back lanes. He's going to spot a couple players jump facing. Kenzie with the bomb has revealed himself. Hooksy forced to back up as Nexa makes his way up into the bomb site. Gooshed out onto Hooksy to 5 points of HP, dead to the hands of Deco. Munacy also gooshed and dealt with by Celta next up. Nexa now needs to play careful, needs to play silent and sneaky from this position. The bomb should get planted. Kenzie and Nori still check it anyway, and the kills are pouring in for Aurora.
It just shows that how much room and space they were able to exploit in from CT. Nico's even been seen out towards Donuts.
Hunter tapping on, dishing out some damage, but Lucky's flank now involved. Finally, one trade, two trades come back from the Bosnians, but it's far too late for them to get anything more in this. A 1v3 now for Hunter, knowing where Lucky is, trying to isolate that one frag, but the T's are closing in positions. He's been baited out of the bomb site. There's no time for the retake, and there's no round for G2.
A very good start in for Aurora. Make their way out from red. Yes, there's a spot of information from Nico deep in the CT lines, but just not being able to capitalize off of the back of it. And you even feel for Nexa, he's being surrounded from all sides. He's playing the reverse default angle. He's trying to look out towards CT. They're coming in on the site directly. Hunter and Nico tried their best out from Donut to recover the round, but for Aurora, that looks strong.
Very strong indeed.
There's a huge disparity even in Ancient in CS2. 4 times played for G2, 24 times played for Aurora.
Their position strengthened on their map pick. No force in from G2 either, so this should be the 2-0 start. An upgrade pistol on a couple of players here, seeing whether Nico or Hunter can get some cheeky headshots. Of course, Kenzie's hearing all those footsteps. They have to deal with them as appropriate. 3 lined up and knocked down. They do get one trade back, but only a Galil lost to the T side, so shouldn't see much return from G2. Celta there to deal with the next, and it's all onto Nico now.
Deco with that auto shotgun, gonna try and see if he can get a little bit of extra cash. And I think something we always talk about, Jay, between Tier 1 and Tier 2 is the grind aspect, right? Getting officials under your belt. There's a huge disparity, even matches played, between these two sides. You have a look at G2. This is their 6th best of 3 on HLTV. And for the Aurora side, this is their 37th in CS2. I mean, the difference there is massive.
Of course, the counterbalance you always sort of see is the fact that it's typically in the Tier 1 environment for the Tier 1 teams, so that's often the times you look at, and often the things you look at as giving them the advantage, but the fundamentals are always there for these Tier 2 squads. Sometimes a lack of form, a bit of an off day is enough. G2 is rifles now to try and hold their position here on Ancient. Nexa will kick things off. Celta first to fall. Kenzie been spotted next. The smokes are in. And they will try and make their way up to the bomb site, but there's other defensive elements here from G2. Munacy and Hunter on opposite ends of the bomb site. Kenzie can win out that first fight. Lucky with a swing, and Munacy goes down as well.
I can't believe this round's actually been recovered. You look at that position, man advantage, 3 players defending up towards A. G2 were in a prime position, and Aurora individually have been able to recover the rounds.
There shouldn't be any way back in for G2 either. Nexa on 1 HP, so that single man advantage is more like a 2. And they're going to back off for it, save these weapons in for the T-side start.
You have a look at the best maps in the pool for Aurora. Ancient, highest picked map in best of 3 history in CS2. Nuke is number 2 and Overpass is number 3. This has always been a stronghold here from Aurora, so we can expect map number 1 to get off to a good beginning. 3-0. G2 will be able to at least drop a couple of M4s. They can at least get themselves a strong rifle round into the next if they like. Aurora, though, I'm, again, very pleased to see them be able to provide a little bit of reassurance. I mean, that kill from Lucky towards the likes of Modesty out to Donut, that was a huge impact frag.
That's the one that stuns you if you G2. Straight swing, straight kill, easy as that. And they opt not to go with the investment in this round. Probably the smarter call to make. Difficult against Aurora. We'll try press with a bit of aggression onto one of those M4s. Nexa, the man that presses, holds his nerve.
And I think it's always wild for us to sit here and say that Aurora should win this game and they're favourites to do so, considering G2 just had top 4 at IEM Sydney. But I think the thing that you always need to reflect on is online versus LAN is very different for these tier 1 teams. And with the way that the veto is shaping up, with the form that we know that Aurora can bring against tier 1 competition, I would say for the majority of this year and even portions of last year, Aurora have always been towards that higher end of tier 2.
G2 struggles in this early game will give a solid foundation for the T side. Being careful about taking the aggressive faces and checking all their corners to ensure that G2 don't have a sneaky play up their sleeves. Seeing the Famasa Hooksy not quite able to get the kill for Norway. 45 seconds for Aurora to act overall.
This is all about patience here from next up, being watched out from the AK. Selter actually does lose the fight. Deco's going to be desperate to try and get this trade, drop this M4 and split in towards A.
Now they press the issue. It's Nico up next. Footsteps heard. Deagle pulled out and dealt with. It's Hunter, the man to fall. So, advantage on the T side. Force back of the CT forces. Where can they go with this? One man has been heard rotating back out to the main entrance. The plant will be secured.
Now, Hooksy, if he gets a kill in from A main fairly quickly, could at least be on for a dangerous kind of retake. They'll look for exits for the moment, but if they get a kill, it should actually send them in.
Mars in the corner, Deco swinging, spraying through and catching the headshot. Modesty next to Task, keeping his head tucked out. Looking for exits above all else here. Aurora have secured the site. No retake room for the two CT individuals. Get these guns out of their hands, but the flashbang's perfect. At least Nico can trade it. Double up on Lucky. Look for the triple on Kenzie. Very nicely done to make some expense happen against the T-side line, but Nori will not actually get the swing back. So a quadra from Nico. Expensive round for Aurora, but a 4-0 on their board.
It makes me wonder if we're going to see any AWPing from the likes of Deco on T-side. I mean, we obviously know how much of a gun player he is. We saw it on one win. We've seen him be very successful here in the lineup of Aurora. But one thing that needs to be added, in CS2, only 25% of his kills are with the AWP. So a lot of T-side, we actually see him rifling with AK and Galil, and then it's only on the CT side that we see the big green come through. So I'm going to be intrigued, especially in this kind of matchup against G2. Do they feel like they need more AWPing just because they're going up against a tier 1 squad?
Let's find out. All AKs across the board for now. And the opportunity to drop that AWP, opted not to take it.
I want to ask you, Jay, where do you think JKS is going to go?
Back to Australia, perhaps? I don't know.
Oh,
I honestly don't know.
That would be quite rough if that's the case. I mean, Dexter might go back. I think if you're JKS, you're going to be looking for offers over the Christmas break. Seems like a lot of teams, especially at the Tier 1 atmosphere, feels like they're even changing more than the Tier 2 squads at the moment.
We're about to enter the true off-season. We've only got, one more Tier 1 tournament, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, so I imagine the next few weeks and moving in closer towards Christmas, we'll see some more.
We'll find out where those bench players do go, where those free agents and going to find themselves any homes if possible. For now, it's 1-for-1 trades in a mid-control. Hunter and Lackey engaged first and foremost. Selter and Modesty are the two men to fall. Damage done towards Lackey and to Hunter in that exchange. Meanwhile, Nico bursting on towards Nori will catch off the kill that gets the advantage for G2.
And Nico doing work out there towards the B side. Now, because there was a lot of space being created out towards red, that's where Lackey for a moment felt like he could have pressed even further. But losing that pick out towards B is going to lead him into Donut instead.
Minute to play with. Lackey just allowed to walk into that A-bomb site. Unknown to the G2 side. He might find a hell of a backstab or just an insertion point Let's see how far he goes with this. Actually, Nico is ready for the position, but he is low HP, as is Hunter here against Kenzie, and he still wins that fight. Nexa has been found. Lucky needs to swing back and find Nico, but he's not able to hit the shot. His back was turned. He didn't know exactly where the player was, so couldn't adjust in time. Now it's Deco to try and hold on to a 1-on-3. Bomb is on his back, but there's 2 CTs to meet him.
There should be no chance of getting the bomb plant. What he might try and do is tap it just to draw some further fights in the open. They know that Nico's low.
18 seconds. Hooksy seen. Second player falls. Oh no, Deco. Bomb plant should be secured. Hunter's on the way. Both players on similar HP bars.
Oh, if there's anyone to win it, surely it's Deco. Oh, this could be on. This could be very much on in the 1v3.
Hooksy giving up his life to potentially let this whole thing fall apart. Deco, where Hunter is, he has the kit. He's got to tap that bomb, try to draw out the fight, stick the whole thing, best play to call, and Deco's not peeking it. The timer is too far gone for the CT forces. Deco unable to hold the clutch. Good effort, but not to be.
And that's incredible balls there to come through from Hunter. I can't believe he's just stuck that. 1v1, no smoke. Jeez, if he was cave, if he was out there towards ramp, then you would have just pretty much died instantly on the swing. But because of that reposition, because of that backstab in from cave and out towards ramp, it makes it possible. Good effort here from Deco. Excellent shot onto Hooksy. I mean, you'd normally think low HP player is, or like Hooksy on low HP is going to swing first and Nico can peek off of the contact. That got very scary.
It's going to be scary as well. Aurora, the oncoming onslaught, fast plays into the A bomb site, rushing it down. m0NESY has been seen, but he's unable to catch much because of the blindness of the flashbang and explode. Look at how much room Maki's making up. Hunter has no idea, caught on the reload. Spray sees the second player. Nico goes down, and Celta can follow it up. Nexus in with one trade, but all of his teammates have fallen. It's a full-on 1 versus 4. He's got that first, trying to spot out Deco, desperate for a return, but nothing comes up for him. Aurora with speed.
Oh, mate, I'm loving this. I'm absolutely loving what Aurora is bringing on the T side. Man, it is utter chaos. So quick out there towards A. Lucky, he is looking sharp right now.
The follow-ups from Celta and Deco, of course, to close it, but you're right about Lucky, man of the round. And look at what that does to G2. Instant backbreaker.
Oh my goodness. This could be quite the series. Aurora, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better start than what we're seeing right now.
Look at this from the CT's forces, trying to see if they can get ahead of the game. Nori able to play off of Kenzie's aggressive position, get those 2 kills in. Nico can't return anything with his Deagle. G2 try and respond with speed, and there's just nothing being gained.
So I want to have a look at those 1xbet odds and say, okay, how quickly do they start to shift? How quickly do you start putting Aurora in the favorite position? m0NESY currently 0-7 on the CT side of Ancient. I mean, really, the only impact that we've seen and the only winnable scenario is that 1v1 that came down from Hunter, which was a 3v1. Aurora are absolutely all over them right now.
1 round down to a ballsy defuse from G2. Other than that, been all T.
Hey, you wonder when the attacks are going to start raining in as well, because Aurora have already got 6 rounds, and they'll be looking to press a lot more in this first half.
AWP's out for m0NESY, so perhaps his weapon in his hands might start to get him into the matchup. You're right about his stats, and Hooksy's also not started a frag yet. On point on the defensive for the captain. Hunter sees so many with the cracked open smoke. The HE, I assume that came in from Nexa, able to support the opener, and he can follow it up, or no, he can't. Nades return. Deco dealt with by the HE, so Hunter ends up with a triple at the start.
A very good round coming through from Hunter. Aggressive up there from shelf and looking to try and get contact immediately. Now, Nori did see Hooksy getting aggressive down from ramp. This is going to be tough to bring back on a 2v4, but for Aurora's sake, there's still so much cash. Prod your way around. You still got 1:10 on the clock. You can still start working a mid-round and try and keep it expensive.
I'll start walking. The G2 have adjusted as appropriate. Back into the bomb sites themselves. Celta needs a headshot immediately against Hunter. Sees his shoulder, Hunter sees him, so he backs off even further. Information to gain now for Nico to start pushing forward. M4 gets caught off of the headshot spray. Did he see the second man? I'm not quite certain. Hooksy now needs to stand and fight. Smoke off towards CT. They're going into this B bomb site. The Dane in the corner. Checked upon. Oh no, Aurora. It might be happening again.
Oh, it very much could be. Celta does not hang around out from red. Put down the utility. Nori can get the bomb in. They've got so much map control. And for G2, it just slows it down because they're both coming in from reds.
Hearing those footsteps as well, both sets. Swing and a flashbang. Lineup's not quite there, but both men known. Nori now versus 2. Hunter with the AWP. Munacy with the M4. Caught first. Flash over. Second player, Nori's at the back off a position. Oh, the AK swapped out to. And a further flashes. Nori's just baiting him away from the bomb site itself. Hunter trying to get this kill desperately, but the time is all against him. And Nori just waits it out. No information to play for. M4 finally swings. He dives out of the way. I think that might just be enough. This defuse coming in at the very last second. And it just goes the way of G2.
Oh my goodness. How is this happening right now? Hunter's got an ace. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how successful we can say that round is for G2. Like, that's a 4v2. Some of these rounds are just coming so much closer than they should have. A reminder, a 3v1 went down to a 1v1, which won them a round. A 4v2 goes to a 1v1 in which they've won. They are narrow margins to what should be comfortable rounds right here for G2.
The fact they fought themselves out of that position, I'm just stunned at the kind of disadvantages that Aurora is still playing. Unbelievable scenes. You can see again what that damage does, what that situation of the 1 versus 1 is going to allow for G2. SMGs out on 2 individuals, one of which has already been tagged. Hunter with the M4, similar story. Aurora can afford the AKs and they'll just keep cracking them open.
Yeah, this is seriously worrying right here for G2. Even Nico's taken quite a bit of damage on that aggression of the spam down here to the bottom of ramp. And I suppose Aurora know that the buy's going to be weak, so the slower they run down the clock, the easier the space is going to be able to take, because it's going to be just be a lucky utility across the board.
Minute on the clock. Molly on Hooksy's position should force him out. Kenzie doesn't stick around at the angle to try to get the kill itself. Might be forced into doing so, though. Hooksy's taking an aggressive position. Hunter may provide support, and there's the swing with the man caught with utility in hand. Hunter can follow suit and just gain the man advantage for G2.
And now they're going to try and pincer. Hunter's down low. Nico can't afford to go down out in the open. The B site's opened up now.
Once again from the man disadvantage, Aurora now up in a 3-on-2, but Deco and Lackey are tagged. Nexa going to try hold and crop this off. Both players should be heard. Molly sent. I think that caught Lackey more than it caught any sort of position on the CT side. Munacy now moving in. Nexa with a chance to swing. Lackey just adjusts. Nexa just about gets the kill back, but Celta can return. 13 seconds. Oh, the HG Munacy drops the bomb carrier. Is going to get recovered by Celta. Once again tapped. The AWP pick now reveals himself. A bomb plant can be stuck, but Munacy, oh, he shoulder baits. It's Celta forced off, and that's enough for the AWP. Get the win off the timer. Again, down to a 1 versus 1 for G2, and the kill after time will hurt the economy more.
Oh my goodness, another uncomfortable round there from G2. And I think Aurora, like, you could honestly look at this from Aurora's point of view and say this game should be 9-0. At this game, we should not have lost a round. It's another clutch. Like, I don't know what else to add here from G2.
I mean, it sounds so wild to say it should be a 9-0 at this juncture. But like, you consider that they've all been 1v1s. Every single round from G2 have been 1v1 situations. One shot, one different piece of utility, one different action from Aurora or a mistake from G2 would have changed the complexion of this entire scoreline. I think you're right. Tactical was taken right there. From the Aurora side, by the way.
Well, again, they know how close the reset is. Even in this buyback, you're still going to see limitations of the util. You're still going to see a limitation of Hooksy down towards a FAMAS. Yes, you've got the AWP out from Monacy, and at least good to see him getting a couple of impactful frags, because that was him getting off of 8, or 0, I should say, an 8 in that last round.
Nori making point for Aurora here. Molotov's going to try and send guys like Hooksy away. He did spot the first peak. Is that going to be full send? It might just be. Smokes down towards long and short. Wall bangs attempted from the CT forces, and Nico might get in amongst the smoke. Peek ahead alongside Hunter. No, Nico just shut down in an instant. Hunter can get that one trade. Kenzie with a responsive from Mars now. Forces the issue, and Kenzie will take a dink, but dish one back out of his own right. The AK beats the FAMAS. It's a 4v2 post plant.
And I actually really like that call there for Aurora. You take the tack. It's been quite default heavy. Think about when they've gone for those quicker execs. Towards A, pumped them. Absolutely rolled them over. So you go in towards that B site, you go up to the exec, you know on those quicker rounds, you've been stronger. You've been able to trade not only successfully, but keep more man advantages. And that's going to rip the economy again. G2 is going to be in scrambles. Yes, you've got that AWP and that M4 being saved, but the loss bonus just isn't there. And Aurora, this is a chance to go 8, maybe even 9 rounds here in the first half.
They've got 7, so they've won the half already. G2.
I mean, just to give you an idea, obviously we were talking about that Mirage game where it was 3-13 up against the Sprout side. Hoogsy went 0-14, and Monacy went 3 kills. You've got guys on the team that just aren't delivering the impact in an official, which was only the last round of the tournament. And it makes you wonder, is it going to happen again? I mean, you've got Monacy on 2, you've got Hoogsy on 1, Nico's on 7, but really you could say that's like 3, because 4 of them were those exit kills. Remember when he was out towards T-Spawn from the back of elbow? The only player that's actually provided impact is Hunter.
He's not even got a rifle right here. Does have his deagle, but doesn't hit the shot on Celta. Quick peeks and Monacy at least return fire. Now Nori starts pressing. Pistol around the corner. Spotted, dealt with, bomb, can commit.
Celta has got the A site opened up, and the likes of Nori has the B site opened up. Celta's going to try and see if he can force a little bit of an over-rotation, try and deal with a lurk. That bomb will go down on B.
What can G2 do to answer it? They have that AK picked up on Nico's part, so you wonder whether it's not just worth it to go in for a save at this point. Seems to be the call. Celta is hunting, though, known to the A site, unspotted by Nexa. And this will be number 8 for Aurora, unless G2 can act in the last second. Nico does swing back, 2 to line up, 4. Lucky takes them both. And the Orpa Monacy, yet another clutch, unable to hit another shot. That's a triple. And indeed, the 8 secured.
And I think another thing to add, which doesn't get discussed a massive amount about Aurora, is when Deco came over, so did Hooch. And you say, okay, well, Hooch is a very renowned coach. We know what he was like as an ex-pro. We've seen him involved in the CIS scene. We also remember that he was on win strike with Lucky. And those two guys are actually sort of a coach and player for a very long time. Now it's coach and in-game leader. So I think that's another great addition that Aurora have brought to the lineup.
Oh, this is working well to them. B side decimation, another rush on the A side, which they were able to work so unbelievably well the last time they tried it. Nexa sprays awkward. Kenzie just takes his head clean off his shoulders for the bomb plant now.
At G2, trying to get into some retaking scenarios. Monacy does at least get away with one, very close to denying that bomb from going down. Another spam kill actually comes through from one of the donut individuals.
Spray back from Nori will bring it into a 3-on-3, though. Monacy does not last. A Molotov smoke combination actually extinguishes, I think, the fire there. Blocks off the donut position anyway. Nico swinging, seeing 2, taking 1, Hooksy with the other. And now Deco's Orb lands up the first kill, spots the second, but doesn't connect it onto Hooksy, who will deny and secure a 4th for G2 to close the half with a 4-round deficit.
Aurora putting on a very good showing right now, and I think for G2 it's showing that these rounds are coming very few and far between, and it makes you wonder come the second half and even come the second map of the series, could this just be Aurora demonstrating that form that we spoke about earlier? That form of the 13 6s and the 13 3s and the 13 7s and the 13 1s that's pretty much been every single map that they've played so far in this event.
Been a stellar T start. Absolutely stellar from Aurora. Now G2 will need to answer back. Question is, how do they do that? Because you just got some absolute stars on the other side of the board. Aurora have been wearing you down so effectively and so quickly. I mean, I don't know what the mental game must be like here.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. Like, I know Nico was streaming last night, him and Monacy. Vibe seemed pretty good when I was tuning in, but I mean, just when you look at even IEM Sydney, the fact that they're pumping teams like Complexity, they comfortably beat Ents, they made it to the stage, they made it to the playoffs, and you're coming here versus Aurora, and I'm struggling to find many positives right now for G2. I mean, the only thing I can say is they're very strong in clutches.
Maybe that might be some sort of avenue to work off of, but confidence may be key on the T side, both in server, in their minds. Pistol round live with a much slower style from G2.
The double donut individuals of both Celta and Vertigo, I wonder if they're going to fight on that contact straight away, or they'll use it as a 5-on-5 retake and play defensively in from donut.
Flash from Monacy to allow the entries. Players very far away from the bomb site itself. Deco playing off of Monacy's initial face. Celta tried to bait him in. He got that kill instead. Now Hunter starts to make the move. The footsteps were heard. The USP does not get the kill, though. Lackey can return on site. Nexa returns to the advantage of G2. And Kenzie's Julie start moving in with Nori's USP. Nexa caught looking away. Kenzie swung upon by both. Nexa domes him in. And it finally looks like G2 have found some confidence and a way back into this match.
I just showed there from Celta. Being pushed in from both sides is always going to be difficult. Deco, the other man out there towards Donut, just didn't get anything. Some good entries coming in for G2. A nice late lurk in from mid to make it uncomfortable for Celta. And in the end, Nori just looks to try and get an exit. Aurora, don't keep coming with that form of success.
Just number 5 for G2 for now. It's a good start in this half of the T side. That's the most important thing. That's the first step in terms of this position. Now Aurora's second should feature only the pistols, whether that's a Eco Harsher or a Force Invest. Actually, they get quite a fair amount together. There's an MP9 and a FAMAS involved.
Aurora will be looking to try and force that reset, and you'd imagine if they come through successfully by winning round 14, that pretty much secures the map and pretty much just elevates yourself to a really one-sided scoreline.
Yeah, G2 can't afford another back-breaking economy state. Why they'll play carefully as standard. Hooksy, though, has been allowed to walk up to the B bomb site. Deco just domes him in. The Deagle face against Nico next, baiting him even further. Knows that he's been forced back.
That's a very good start for Aurora. That's exactly what they're after. G2 felt like there was a timing, felt like there was a window of opportunity of that walk forward. Nico and Hunter need to try and put some emphasis down here towards Cheetah. The spam from Kenzie does a lot of damage onto Nico.
Doesn't quite get the full-on kill. Aware of Hunter as well. Moving in alongside Nori. And FAMAS on the crossfire. 3 players total on this B defense. G2 having no options but to slow things down and try work a different pick elsewhere. Just none are coming through.
Out towards Cave, this could be a trap setup. Kenzie can take the first contact, try and draw the attention forward.
And spotting Molly against the FAMAS player. Nori still gets it. Oh, Kenzie has landed the kill shot on Nico as well. And now the utility in to try and commit towards the B site. Nexa needs to work an advantage. Nori can swing against both, busting through, unable to get the kill against the second player, but he's done enough for Deco to finish the job.
It just feels very simple there for Aurora. You get yourself off with a very good pick from Deco towards long. Deal with Hooksy. The Molly comes out to Cave. The FAMAS peaks. The 5-7 peaks at the same time. And there's just success everywhere. They're on point. They're sharp. And I think we can always say that about some of these CIS squads in the Tier 2 scene. Individually, they can just be cracked. And Aurora, I mean, it shows that by the kill distribution spread, everyone's holding their weight. Everyone's bringing impact. And for G2, unfortunately, the only impact player we've seen across this map is Hunter.
Down at pistols, they'll go and attempt to try and play fast against Aurora like Aurora did to them. Weapon advantage certainly sits with the CT side, though. Case in point with the spray and HE combo. Nico can take one back, though, with back to turn towards the cave control. Hooksy still goes down. Nori can stand up with 2. Third one not quite allowed, running out of ammo at the last second, but the CTs quickly move in. Deco can deny this bomb plant, and alongside Lackey, that's what he'll do.
Now, we've seen since Nexus come into the lineup and over the course of the games here in the online finals, the veto process has changed from G2 in comparison to what it was at IEM Sydney. But I do want to show you this, Jay. 3 best of 3s were played at IEM Sydney, and every single best of 3 that G2 played, they picked Ancient. Okay, the last time around they got battered by Complexity, but the first time was a 13-7 against Complexity and a 13-9 against ENCE. How are we seeing this kind of performance from G2 on this map after they picked it in every best of 3 in a LAN event just the other month ago?
This was the map against Fluxo earlier on during the CCT Online Finals, which they actually looked very good on, a 13-5 result. It might go that way for Aurora, the way things are going. G2, however, still involved in this matchup, and maybe not for long. The Pistols got the opener. Lackey can take them back.
Just start pressing this issue. G2, the best that they can hope for is another overextension. Another easy casualty for these upgraded Pistols.
Deco just wearing down Hooksy next. Lackey gets the pick. Does get dinked down regardless. Nico cannot finish the job at 2 points of health. He still lines up a full-on ace. 11-5 for Aurora. 2 away from taking the first map against G2 in a very dominating fashion.
And just to give you an idea of coming into today, in the event so far, Kenzie's averaged a 1.45 rating, 1.35 for Lackey, 1.34 for Nori, 1.34 for Deco. You've literally got 4 out of 5 players on this lineup that have just produced high fragging in every single map of the event.
Hunter and Hooksy, the 2 contact. Not seeing anything by the sheer force of the utility of Aurora here. Celta, 2 around the corner. Spray through, catches that first, stand that second. Sit down, boys. It's a 5-on-3.
Aurora coming here to play. Nico desperate to try and make something happen. Goes in front of that re-smoke out towards ramp, but he's out in the open, and he's caught off by Nori.
Didn't know what was going on. Didn't know how to handle it. Taps inaccurate. On the T side. $60 seconds to try and find something back here. Echo. Or just unscoped against Munacy, but still lands that kill anyway. Hooksy, last player left. Check to the left. The shot doesn't quite connect it. Still he presses, and the M4 will give chase. The information, of course, well known to the Aurora side, so they'll rotate in and close all avenues of escape. He'll try to secure a bomb plant with the smoke in the way, leg down to 12 HP. But the plant is the best that you can expect in this case. Lackey to fall. Turn around from Nori, and it's map point for Aurora.
And I've got to be honest, Jay, I actually am speechless. Like, I don't know what to say here. This is so underwhelming from G2. Yeah, we can sit here and say that they struggled against Sprout, but my goodness, this hasn't even been competitive. There has been rounds that haven't even been competitive. Aurora have just absolutely battered the number 5 team in the world.
That, I think, is the part that makes it so much shocking, because it's not like it's a big or an OG or another one of these, like, you know, lower level tier 1 teams that come down to tier 2 and they don't quite hang with the guys who are a little bit more proficient on the fundamentals. This is a number 5 ranked team who are losing to Aurora. Respectable of their own accord. It shouldn't really happen, though. And that's what we're seeing. Deco trying to dish out the killing blows. Hooksy, first to fall. Munacy tagged up. Shots continue to ring out from the AWP. Finally forced back, but the AK are Kenzie against Hunter. Hunter can at least find a trade, but he is one of now 4 players that have been tagged up. Next just took a nade there. Incendiary against him. He just about evades it and tries to get back to a rifle.
And there's a late lurk on a retake coming out from A main, and I can't expect that Munacy is going to be ready for this. This should be a fairly easy pick from Lackey.
Here he comes, slowly but surely, checked around by Munacy's position, but he thinks he's safe. To that, he thinks wrong. 3 left standing for G2. Aurora going to try and make their way in. Nori into the center of the bomb site. They can only be here at Donut because main has been cleared up entirely. Molotov on the bomb. Is there a smoke to go down for it? They're going to hold it all the way. Lackey doesn't quite hold on, though. 2 out for Aurora. Got to get back to safety. Got to save their guns because finally G2 have broken the streak. and denied the map victory for the time being.
And just a little bit of miscoms there for Aurora. So they had 2 smokes for the retake, and both of them went down towards Donut. They could have had 1 for the bomb and 1 towards Donut. So then, as soon as the molly comes out, there's not really much you can do. You're not going to be able to get that stick off. You've got to hope that you're not being spammed by any of those bullets. G2 getting an all-important round. You can even see there that I think Deco was anticipating a late lurk in from Red and kind of wasted a bit of time out from CT spawn in the end. All the guys there from G2 were pretty much regrouped out towards Donut. So a survival round for the international squad for the moment.
6 more to bring it back to overtime. It's a very long road, all things considered. Pensy, look at how far forward he's going to get ahead of this flashbang hook. She's fully blinded. Celta with a flash assist. Nika making his way in. That Molotov doesn't quite land towards the position either. He's going to burn down a very low HP. Nori can finish the job against Monacy, and the HE should take care of Nico the same. Hunter caught off, does adjust back with a headshot, and it's a 2 versus 2. Molly's in, Orpa watching, getting back to position on the bomb site itself for both CT individuals. They should be aware, or should start to be aware soon, that the A site is under siege.
And that was actually a really good pick from Hunter. When you look at the breakage of that smoke and you look at the timing, it feels like he's going to fall down there towards Red, but that 1 kill has actually probably won the round for G2. This is not an easy 2v2.
60 seconds left. Molotov's in the plant, secured at the very edge of the entryway. Themselves up onto the tree position. Wraparounds from Nori and Deco. Now looking for Hunter next is AK, ready for the swing, hearing those footsteps. He's going to be ready for the Nori kill, but no, Nori lands the HP advantage next, and now the step up scene. Sprays very awkward against both, and he gets so much damage, but neither of them are kills. Nori with a quadra to close, 20 deep in this map, but one of 2 of Aurora that went that far, and it's a 13-6 map ending against G2. Oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, this looks shocking. That was an embarrassing performance to come from G2 on map number 1. And I think with the idea of what we said in the veto, that Nuke is one of the best maps in the pool for Aurora. They love going into it in best of 3s. The fact that G2, for the first time in CS2, are picking Nuke against Aurora after what really could have been an 11-1 half there on Ancient, they have been pumped. They have been absolutely destroyed in this first map of the series.
Yeah, I know the win rate doesn't say it's all that fantastic of a map on Nuke, but trust me, there's more to the story than just the 43% that they've got right there. This is a very worrying situation for G2, just off the form alone, considering what we saw against Sprout, considering what we're seeing in this map up right here. They're going to need to turn it around. And listen, they've done it so far in the CCT Online Finals, but Aurora are a very different beast by comparison to their previous competition. I am honestly not convinced.
No, and I think it does show for G2 they're probably using this tournament as practice. And it shows that because they're not going to the maps that they've been picking usually. They picked Mirage against Sprout. They picked Inferno against Fluxo. They picked Ancient today. So there's no consistency with the map picks. In Sydney, all they did was pick Ancient. And so it's telling me, even the bans, they were banning a lot of Overpass. Now they're banning a lot of Vertigo. So they're trying to bring new maps into the pool. The issue is, if you do that against top tier 2 competition, you're just going to lose. It's just as simple as that. You might use it as practice. You might use it to get more officials under your belt. But if you're Aurora, you're looking at this entire situation saying, we should close this game comfortably in 2.
With the way the situation is looking at, it may well be the reality that we face. We're going to head towards a break and set up for map number 2. It is G2's map pick, but chances of survival seem low. We'll find out whether they can continue in this best of 3 when we return.
very complicated job, but I love simple things so much. One move. One push. One touch. One love. One click. One XBet.
Are you sick of just opening cases? Join the events. At each event, you can find special cases from which tokens fall. Tokens are your ticket into a world of unique awards. For tokens, you can buy a skin, premium, or special balance. Try your luck in the skin generator. Also, you can leave your tokens at the token vault. And the more tokens you keep, the better skin you'll get. Add variety to opening cases with Hellcase.
Want to win AK-47 Legion of Anubis, M4A1S Decimator, or AWP Atheris? Your time has come. Analyze and vote for the tournament outcomes. Earn points, and with dub skins from BO3GG. Don't hesitate. Vote on BO3.GG and claim your award.
Yo, what are you doing? Divot. What do you think? I'm a paperclip? Mr. X to the Z. You need to quit browsing like a lame and get Opera GX. Because with GX mods, you can pimp your motherfucking browser. All you gotta do is click here, select the mod, and boom! New look, new sounds, new everything. It's not easy being a legend. Oh, shit. Not again. Change the mod now. Download Opera GX.
Well, G2 must be feeling just as shocked to open up this series as they did the last round of the upper bracket. A decimating affair from Aurora on their map pick, of course, leads them up in the series. You'll notice down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screens, by the way, that the 1xBet odds have shifted well and truly in their favor. Dwight, there's a very good reason for that.
Yeah, there is. I mean, you have a look at Nuke. It's the second highest picked map in best of 3 history in CS2 for Aurora. They've picked it 11 times. Like, it shows they're maybe not so much comfortable on the map, but they feel like it's a map that's strong for them. And I think, again, there can be some inconsistencies. They've beaten some tier 1 squads like Big. They've come in very close against squads like Heroic. Even Monty they've given challenges to. I think the one that really catches my eye, which is the most recent one, which is in the last 2 weeks, the last performance they played was against Saw, 13-1. I think for Aurora, starting on that CT side, this is a chance to put on one hell of a show, Joe.
Indeed, it could well be. Will G2 get 2-0'd? We'll find out as we get into map 2. CT side may well be the moment where Aurora can take over full control. They did it on the T side over on Ancient, so let's see whether the Pistols will provide the confidence that we saw as we start off on our second map.
And for Aurora, and this is a great chance with one map to go to start driving another one of those deep playoff runs that we know that they can do. We know that they've got what it takes to go in deep, to upset squads, to go on to win entire events. This could be just that step closer. Kenzie outside, repositioning towards the top of credit. Not seeing anything at the moment.
Now he has, but struggles to get that headshot on the player through the smoke. It's Hunter to start things off against him. Deco now backed up at AC alongside Lackey in over at the Hell locker rooms. Case of timing against Modesty. Back his turn. 2 kills come in for him, and Lackey can get one more as well.
Down towards a lower bomb site. The bomb can at least get planted. The thing is, what happens after that point onwards? Rotates from ramp and rotates down from vent can be in very quick here from Aurora.
Onto the site, onto the plant. Nico taps up Lucky. That's one back. Okay. Advantage still sits with Aurora here. They've made some noise as well back towards the vents position. They can assume that players might be inbound as well from that ramp position still. Celta going to prove the point. The Julie swing forward. Kill has been found. Nico, one more tap to the head of Nori. Looking for a little bit more perhaps. They drop the door. They open it back up here. Surely got to take on towards the diffuser. It's almost come forward entirely for Deco. Nico with one more tap to her head and does finish off the job, but it's far too late. The diffuser's been found. Aurora take the pistol.
That's a very good effort there from Nico. He almost recovered what was pretty much an unwinnable round. But I look at that one and think, look at Deco's performance. You lose that first pick outside. The top of AC, he gets away with 2 incredibly quick and clean kills.
If only they were as clean as those 2 kills, then it would have just added even more credence to how far Aurora can go with this. But you are right, that was the impact moment where the whole thing shifted in the favor of the CT side. Bomb plant bonus secured, forced back in the G2. Couple of rifles to play with on Nico and Hunter here.
Hooksy can at least make some noise to get down towards outside, try and bring a little bit of distraction as they try and hit towards ramp. Walking through a contact is actually going to be lucky here with the incendiary at the ready.
Puts it out early just to stall any potential aggression, allowing him and Deco to get downstairs. AUG actually does stick around to try and look for an engagement against Nico. Sees Munacy and sees the 3rd and 4th players. He's mowed through everybody. Kenzie there to close down the last, and this round has ended in the blink of an eye.
A G2 have Hooksy, who was detected outside from the back garage player. They know that he was around Secret somewhere. Even a kill would be, I guess, looked at as a positive from this point onwards. 1v5, there is no chance of basically any success in this round. Aurora to get a very clean 2-0 beginning.
Deco just on for the Quadra. Lands it nice and effective. G2. Again, not the start that they had hoped for, and similar stories with the confidence as we started off Ancient with. We start off Nuke with the same. This should extend to at least a 3-0, because G2 didn't get a bomb plant to supplement their force invest.
And very similar to map number 1, the disparity of maps to be played. We had 6 times, at G2 only 4, and Aurora 24, so 6 times the amount of times on Ancient. For Nuke, it's 8 times, because it's 2 maps played for G2 and 16 maps played in CS2 for Aurora. A huge amount of officials under their belt, whereas for Aurora, even in the very few that we've seen with Nexa, there was that game against Fluxo, like you mentioned a bit earlier on.
Nico's in from G2 here. Kenzie and Celta, considering the outer face, might look to engage. Burst fire onto the head of the first man up at Silo. He has been spotted again. Kenzie's more focused on the play towards outside. He was heard there, not quite the kill that they wanted. Munacy has dropped to Deco's hands, though, so advantage still saves with Aurora. Have at least allowed a little bit of breathing room for Hooksy downstairs.
And Nico outside gets a pretty good kill. In there towards credit, Kenzie overextends slightly, but even with 1 frag being gained, I don't think much more can realistically be found here from G2.
Bonus cash, and Hooksy's been spotted. Next are now all that remains. Nico also dealt with in the meanwhile. 1-on-4 for the PT50. It's got to go down, ideally, just to get the money bonus here for G2. The bomb plant would be lovely, but very, very idealistic here.
And imagine if you are someone like Lucky, the in-game leader of the team, the captain of the team, put in a very good performance individually in map 1, put in a very good team performance across the board, and now coming into Nuke, going into something that's more comfortable as well, looking to try and see if you can keep bringing that forward. I think he's had a very intriguing career. I think Windstrike was definitely his sort of burst onto the scene at the higher end of Tier 2, getting the taste of Tier 1 experience. And I think we could look back on that team and look at how successful the lineup really was. You had Crad and Forrester in there. They had Elian on the AWP, who was in really good form back in the day. Nickelback as well. He's gone from being a very consistent rifler and a very strong rifler on that team to now picking up in-game leadership and bringing up new talent in the scene.
Aurora up against the gun buy here of the G2 side. The AWP out for Modesty once again. AK is surrounding it here. The T's need to get their start soon. Aurora, very good position to try and run away with this. G2 would be in a very dire spot if that is what's ended up happening. Playing extremely careful on their T defaults.
They've got some outside smokes to work in. Lucky is playing very defensive in from Secret, so no opportunity for Modesty to sort of crack open an opening kill. Or like lurk smokes outside. They actually don't even have the second smoke to T-Red.
Can't see And in the wraparound, I think it might end up being a split A, so I'll focus on the defensive as Lackey swings in, gets 1 kill. Second man also seen. The FAMAS has done so much. Munacy can take it right back. They might have bomb information soon as well. If he gets spotted at this cross, that much will go the way of the CT forces. Kenzie, shoulder baiting, does get taken back to a 3-on-3.
And Deco's been heard dropping off of this top hut, so that's at least info for Nexa out the door.
Giving his back turn towards the lobby position just in case he's going in for a crunch. Eyes are set. Celta might just give Nexa what he wants.
And G2 can have a lower play. The issue is they still need to deal with Nori, who's down here on the lower bomb site. And with time being low, 1 kill to deny the bomb from going down could actually destroy the rounds.
Nexa, back his turn at the wrong moment. He spent his entire post-round watching that lobby position, and now Nori knows. Catches Hooksy, Munacy can take him back and get the plant here, but he needs the full-blown ace, and the CTs are hot on his heels. Plant secured, Celta first up to task. Flash in the way, a second one comes out, he turns away from it, flick, doesn't connect, damage is done, player closer, Deco, Celta will find the killing spray, and it will be 4-0 start for Aurora.
You look at that entire round, and I think you do feel for Nexa slightly. He just gets caught on a timing, looks to try and cut a rotate from the top site, and just doesn't quite have that ability to be able to deal with Celta. Very good impact from Lackey. And I do wonder, was that maybe just some missmokes outside? Was it intended to have a little bit of a lurk? Because I think when you look at it from Lackey's perspective, he's just kind of seen a smoker out in the open and thinks, okay, well, I'm going to make an info play off of the back of it. Just catches 2 players walking into main really easily.
I was questioning the smoke setup because it looked like it landed pretty perfectly for the initial gap, like the red to T gap. Whether that was intentional or not may remain a mystery to us for now. Tactical taking for G2, their first in the series, let alone the map.
Another thing to think about, Jay, obviously with Valve's sort of stance on some of the partnerships and things like that moving forward, it makes you wonder, are we going to start seeing more Tier 1 competition in with the Tier 2 guys? And if this is the case, and we get performances like this, I wonder what the future kind of holds for some of these Tier 1 squads that constantly struggle against Tier 2 teams online.
Yeah, I'd imagine there's some teams, some well-known names that might not survive in a post-partnership.
Like, not saying this is directed at G2, but just like as an overall conversation. Oh, yeah, no, because we've seen it over the last few years.
I think G2 are not in that conversation because at least they're still getting decent with positions. I'll come back to that in a second because Lackey is about to mow through 2 kills on Hooksy and Hunter. Nexa with a responsive back. Advantage for Aurora right here as G2 continue to play fast into the B bomb site. You have got wraparounds coming in from Celta, who will try and hold his position. Incendiary onto control, will try stopping the aggression or over-aggression from G2, but they prioritize the bomb plant, I see.
Once again, another sick hold from the in-game leader. A multi-frag coming through from Lucky. And for G2, now they've got to try and position themselves in a way to recover this post-plant. They're down by 1. There's a lot of time for Aurora to get into some strong retaking positions, and they've got so much util.
Take a bit of time to get in place. Nade sent to open up the double doors. Munacy running away from the flashbang as well. Nico holding his nerve. 3 make their way out of decon. Good for 1 kill on the AK. Second player can double up. And now they look to turn the man advantage towards the favor of the T side until a moment's respite of Deco in with the kill. Now look for the second. He lands that headshot. But Aurora don't have time. The kit was on the far out player. So it's that first round for G2.
Unfortunately for Kenzie, he's one of the only players in the round that doesn't have a kit. And he's the only one that pretty much does need the kit to get onto that bomb, to have Deco to hold on the back of it. A decent time stalling there from G2, but I think very similar, right, to that first half of Ancient. It's come down to very fine margins of a clutch. Another 1vx scenario. And I think it showed there on map 1, that's not consistent. You can't allow that to be consistent. And look at what's even coming through on the buy for round 6. 1 AK for Nico, Galil's in a Mac 10.
Back-breaking economy state. We saw what Aurora did with that in the last map. Deco is up towards the outside. Waiting for contact. G2 are so careful about this. They're waiting for an overextension of the CT forces.
They're going to be desperate for a pick in a round like this. Oh, decent spam. I think that was actually just a walk forward there. Just caught the right-hand side of the body for Deco.
All three smokes set in. Kenzie's looking to challenge a bit more directly. He's made a bit of noise. Swing out for Muncie can get that kill. So information game played to perfection there for G2. Still trades available for the CT side. Nori, especially against Hooksy. First, the headshot comes in for the AK instead. Two-man advantage now for G2. Deco next to task. AWP shuts down the captain and gets right out of the way.
He's got a teammate with him out towards the observation. Nico can start working in from main. No one towards upper. Nexa behind the smoke at ramp for Celta.
Starts pressing forward. The Galil does catch the man off guard. Now to 2 on the Aurora side. They're still considering the lower bomb site, which actually is where the CTs are holding from. Lackey just made his way back upstairs, so Deco might have to do a lot of the heavy lifting here in terms of this defensive line. The AWP could get caught off at the stairs. 2 to line up. What? No scope on Muncie. Oh, and Hunter goes down as well. 2 versus 2. The bomb's been dropped.
It has, and there's so little time. Deco just needs one more kill and this round's done.
8 seconds, Nate sent towards him, and Nico can take it right back. But look at Lackey. No, they haven't got it. Have they got a plant in time? I can't tell. Oh my God! One tick made the difference. 2 no-scopes sealed it for Aurora. Oh, Lord.
What is that? What is that round? Oh, G2 have just fumbled it completely. Deco, you think the 1-for-1 trade there is instant. As soon as he gets that first kill, you look at that one and say, yeah, Hunter gets a trade. Every single day of the week. I can't believe this. How was there no trades? Oh, what? That is a Deco special.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You can just barely spot.
That's a few ticks. Literally a few ticks.
Unreal. Unbelievable. G2. It just keeps getting worse somehow. I don't understand why.
Well, I think one thing to say is, how was there a 4v2 but only 2 players down in the lower bomb site? Is that maybe a question? Like, that round is done. And rather than regrouping completely, you've got Nexa trying to cut rotates at ramp, you got Nico trying to cut rotates at main, and Aurora. I mean, that's a round that you shouldn't be winning, but for G2, you have to wonder, when you're so desperate for rounds, why you've only got 2 players going down towards lower.
Mental. The position's held now. G2 have to buy around those saved guns because what other choice do they have? Aurora have been similarly damaged on their own economy states. This is a bit of a swing opportunity for G2. At least they have that much in their back pockets. But this could be a far more confident position from them, and they know it. Damage up already against Muncie. Kenzie not opting to go overly aggressive here. Isn't that hungry for the kill.
Hey, they know the AWP's going to be in play, and I think Aurora are being really disciplined outside, not even giving a jiggle, not even giving many chances to this AWP that's just searching for info. Deco has the HE to blow open the door out here towards Squeaky, so he can at least keep an eye on what's happening towards lobby right now.
Time beginning to run out on G2. Must be conscious of that much. Deco stands on the defensive, the bane of their existence in round 6. May become the same here in round 7. He's in the open, trying to put off the smoke, sees the shoulder of one. I thought he landed the collateral there against Nico as well. But Nexa is caught first and foremost. Quick reposition as well. Hunter and Muncie swing just before the scope of the CT barrel. 20 seconds, 4 on 4. Nori still watching and waiting. They're going to catch off Nico into the back. Hooksy can't make his way to the vent dive. Nori can punish that. The AWP backed up. Kenzie unchecked. Muncie cannot adjust towards him, and Hunter is overwhelmed by the next 2. Against G2, there is no chance against Aurora.
G2 are just getting pumped, like literally pumped in this best of 3. You can even see there, Nico tries to go down into the vents. It pretty much has to be a cancel as soon as someone from Aurora is in the vents. And then I think even for Hooksy, he struggles to find the vent. He's on the outside of the vent through the smoke, and it's just pure chaos. Just absolute chaos in the rounds.
Aurora have the half tied up at least. And they went further than that in the last map up. Fast plays out of the pistols. Look at Nori with the XM. He's looking for a payday. He might just get it. HE's doing damage. One man down already. Doesn't get too greedy though. Just wants to back off.
And this is where you have to look at some of the individual kill numbers here from G2 and say it's lacking. just like it was out there on map number 1 for such a long time in the first half.
Uxie on 1 kill, Nexer and Hunter on 2 apiece. And for Hunter, he was the top guy for G2 over on Ancient. Now, looking a far away from it. 1 on 5. Next up. Can't even get Nori. XM gets his payday. And Aurora have the half.
And I think if you are Aurora, if you come away with a really clinical victory and a simple victory against G2, they have to believe that they're the best team in the comp. They have to believe that they can win this entire thing. Because I think for Big, yeah, there's conversations that they are one of the favorites. They are fairly consistent. They came in close last time to qualifying to the global finals. But if you get a comfortable win against G2, that brings so much comfortability and confidence if you're one of these tier 2 squads.
G2 trying to go quick. Nexa shut down in an instant. Deco with the AWP frag. The kill shot found. Huxi tagged to 29 by the Molotovs incendiary sent in by the CT forces. All sorts of bullets are flying. Very few are connecting on the T side. Hunter and Huxi now down to 30 or less.
Deco's just feeling it. As soon as he got that double no-scope, you can see that he's been really proactive. He's constantly looking for fights. Finally, there's at least an opener to come out towards ramp. A lot of utility to force Deco off.
Sent 3 flashes or so around that corner. One of them did catch him. Still, he wants to go for wallbang shots because that's how confident he's feeling. Seltzer, meanwhile, catching Munacy. One more man down. Hunter extremely low. The next up around this corner. I don't know if Seltzer's aware of him just yet. Either way, that bomb is on site and will need to get planted. Could well be denied. One shoulder peeking out to the right, dealt with. Hunter with a responsive 16 HP incendiary, not even required. Nori's XM is still in play. It still has the kill. And Nico is in a 1-on-3. He needs to show that pistol accuracy we saw from the first round out of him. But on the AK, against other rifle Deco, it's not to happen. AWP shot connects. Aurora on 8.
Aurora just speed running their way through this best of 3. Another disappointing performance in from G2. And I think we said it from the veto. Why has Nuke been picked? Why has it come? Like, I know at some point you have to play maps that you don't normally play. And it shows that they are trying to reinvent the map pool. They have changed every Instaban and every map pick previously from IEM Sydney since bringing Nexter into the lineup. But do you really want to play Nuke against Aurora?
Fast again from Hunter. Sawn off part of the half by the rest of the C. Is going to make their way in towards the ramp control. Lucky M4 does mow through 2 despite taking the early tags. He damn near gets 3. Finally, a little something back for the G2 side. There's not much presence around the B-bomb site either. Hunter might catch Kenzie completely off guard. Oh, the sawn off gets such little damage done. Landed towards his legs. Nori gets tagged a little bit more heavily. But those 2 HEs forcing him out into fights. He does win one, but not the other.
And Nexter on the bomb site needs to try and step up. The issue is this M4 doesn't have much support around it.
Seeing the shoulder, Nori, be careful about taking this fight. He's still low HP, but Nexus spray doesn't connect. He's forced back. Nico with a Deagle, low HP of his own right. Flash is sent. Nexus completely blinded. Nori with the kill. Deagle versus 3. There's the first. And the second not coming in. Seltzer closes on the defuse in an instant. Number 9 for Aurora.
And Lucky did so much work. When you consider that he got caught up being flashed, when he was actually quite slow to reposition down to the bottom of ramp, getting away with 2 kills really brought a lot back. And, I mean, the sawn-off's going to be difficult because it is a bit of a crappy weapon. But at that sort of range from Hunter, I think he's done as much as he can. And you can look at it from G2 saying, it's fairly expensive. You've got a few casualties. You've got a bomb plant. But when you're down 1-8, you need round victories. You need every single round opportunity that's possible.
I mean, even then, the economy is still relatively well built. I know there's some players that are low on the CT side, but Deco's on 7,800. Cash aplenty. Got weapons, bring a buyback for round number 12, regardless of the outcome here. Round 11, G2 need to secure 1.
And it's a vintage Deco performance. We know that we've touted him as being one of the best AWPers in Tier 2. He showed it on 1 win. He's been on this Aurora side for less than a month, and he's already finding some really good form. We've seen it in this event, and we've seen it in a lot of events previously.
Kenzie gets caught on the swing. Munacy. Opening frag found. Nico. next up to task. Leaning around that corner, the dive in for the M4 of Lackey, backed up 58 seconds. You hear anything, you'll go back to check for Hunter. AK ready for the headshot. 2-man advantage now for G2. Will it stay?
Celta's got to be worried about Heaven, but he's also worried about Lobby, so might just try and search for some information. Nori get caught out towards the door. Nexa has not dropped.
Now Nico can close in the pincers. Nori goes down. M4 swing also caught off by the Star. And now Deco's in a 1-on-5. Stellar element, but it seems like it's a bit too far to go.
Yeah, I think the best that he can hope for here is just to try and keep it slightly expensive and, of course, hold on to that big green. I mean, they'll be able to buy it next round anyway. Aurora. 9 rounds up. Drop their second. G2, though, I mean, it was a pretty good round from just the default alone. The opening pick from outside of the AWP of Monacy helping out quite a bit.
It's a second round. Now look to try see if you can get number 3. Deco. Back 9 against Nico first. So that could be a kill. Next does manage to get the AWP at the drop, so forced to reinvest that weapon in the next round. Again, Aurora have quite a fair amount of cash, so they'll be okay for the most part. One last round in the half to see whether there's anything left on the T side of G2.
And just to give you an idea as well, we saw Nuke being played in the Paris Major RMR between these two sides back in April, and it actually went 16-14, of course, still in CSGO, and was really competitive. Nori was the guy that nearly won the game for Aurora. He ended up dropping 31 kills. This time around, I feel like he hasn't even been needed.
Not with Deco doing the things that he's been doing, and not with Lackey continuing to hold his nerve. Nori does try to get a little bit more involved, but Celta is there to trade off of his casualty. Quick lobby crunch from Aurora, backing off when they just get that one element out of play. 4-on-4 gain. Celta is rather low HP in this exchange.
And Deco going to try and see if he can spam on the outside, getting close to a few of those connections. Actually, Hooksy takes a duel towards Lackey and wins it at credit.
Meanwhile, Kenzie's ready over at the decon position. Molly set. Eastside players walking their way forward. Nico, scene, spray. Hunter gets caught next. And just like that, the advantage is negated. The HG's even going to catch Monacy off guard. His shot doesn't connect this time. He's known, and the bomb dropped in the open.
Monacy is in a very tough position. Hooksy's trying to see if he can create some space. Walk up here towards the upper bomb side. Him and Celta are so close to one another, and it actually goes the way of Celta on low HP.
Oh, God, Hooksy. Oh, Monacy, a stellar shot. Again, away back in, but caught switching to another gun, trying to put utility out. Deco just closes him down. It's 10 for Aurora to close the half the same. Oh dear, is all I can really say, Dwayne. Like, this is just it. We feared Nuke. We feared the pick. We wondered whether or not there was something up the sleeve of G2, or if Aurora were going to do what they have wanted to do. It's very clearly been that. 8 to the good at the turn of the half.
I legitimately thought Aurora could have closed in 2, but not like this. I mean, this is so much more one-sided than I think anyone could have imagined. This is an incredibly poor performance today from G2. It feels like they're just not even here. Not even here to make it competitive. Aurora have just pumped them. And they'll close it down quickly too.
Nico. Trying to prod the molly sent. Kenzie flashes ahead of his position. Monacy does get that first kill alongside Hunter's Julius, who can mow through 2 of his own. Celta comes up with 2 on the turn, and it's a 2 versus 2. Hooksy, oh, he can't hit the headshot. Whiffs every single one. And now Nexa, re-edition, here to try and clutch a 1-on-2.
And look at the way that Aurora have just stabilized with the clock. They just know, freeze it up, slow it down. Celta's already got away with more than he could have asked for. Nexa will have to deal with both of these T-side players, and Aurora just know, as long as we play together, we shouldn't lose this round. Because as soon as we get contact, it should just be a 1-for-1 trade.
He's read their reposition well enough. Nori makes his way in. There's one tap. Celta caught off guard, but he still wins the triple. Aurora take the pistol. And it looks like it is going to be 0-2 for G2.
Aurora will just look to try and close this one down very quickly. Feel for Hunter. Puts up a lot of defensive with those Julies. Double kill from the top of Hut. And then Celta and Nori just bring it back from one another. Celta in the end, just getting that final few connections onto Nexa. Another tactical from G2, but there is not much that can be said about this Tier 1 squad. If they play like they've played today in the lower bracket, they will be finished. They will get absolutely destroyed. You've got some strong teams in that lower bracket. Oh, I don't know. This, it just doesn't feel right. Something just feels completely off. And it's not to take a massive amount of credit away from Aurora, but this game shouldn't be this easy.
Yeah,
it's just as simple as that.
I'm with you. Again, we are talking about the number 5 ranked team in the world. Maybe these changes that they've made have been a lot more impactful than people might have assumed. Perhaps the shift...
Even individually, right? The numbers from just individuals aren't here.
So many things you could speculate. But that's all we can do at this stage. What we know for certain is the fact that Aurora are walking all over G2 in the last map, in this one. Whether it be tactical, individually, firepower-based, weapon-based, map-based, veto-based, whatever you want to call it. Whatever issue you want to blame for G2's loss here, it could all apply. It's been a rough road through this upper bracket. It looks to come to a close here and now, though. 2 rounds is all Aurora need.
And Nori with the top Hut molly. Looks to be an inner take. Out from door. Hooksy's going to be the first point of contact with the 5-7.
Molotov opposition. Takes the fight and wins it against Celta. Deco quick on the return. The scout towards outside now being spotted. I think he got a tag. Either way, the bomb is on site and will get planted. Hunter comes up with 1, however, so advantage for G2.
They need to deal with this lobby flank. The problem is there's a flank on the flank.
Kenzie closing in, hearing footsteps. Missed the boat on Hunter. Will catch Nexa on the way out. 3-on-3. Nade sent to the secondary. SMG caught by a flank as well of Nori. Well communicated, well coordinated there by the T side. As Muncie goes down next, Nico just left charging in. Desperate for the headshots that he needs. Okay. 1-on-1, but no kit and running out of time. Kenzie just running away from the man. Secures the kill shot instead. And it's map match point for Aurora.
Aurora coming in close in that last round. A couple of really good shots from Nico on the dig, but it wasn't enough. More support was necessary. Jeez, Phil for him. Aurora. And to think that between alternate attacks, Saw, and now G2, this is the most one-sided game for Aurora. That just doesn't make any sense.
I think it's back to the drawing board for our favourites, which feels so odd to say given the scoreline now and what we've seen. Hooksy at least burns 2 on the run out. Aurora getting reckless there towards the squeak door. Advantage of G2, but the weapons that they have still could fall apart at the seams to the AK. Range game potential. They'll slow it down.
Yeah, this could actually be a survival round from G2. Aurora taking this as a heavy bonus, even having a P90 involved. Nexa with a very decent crossfire with Monacy out at ramp.
Kenzie with 1 return. There's the double up. That's what I'm talking about. And on Hooksy next up. He has no idea that he's out towards this main entrance of the lobby control. Minute to play with. Hunter on a big old flank, defending that B-bomb site. Hooksy to hold A. Big gap up towards heaven and hell if they make their move through that. Aurora, they're making their decisions.
At least they've got a lot of time. That will help them make this decision. And again, similar to that 2v1 previously, as long as you play together, as long as you buddy up, the weaponry advantage is huge. And Hooksy alone towards A should get isolated if they come in heaven.
Playing as that heaven position, Celta. Moving in alongside Kenzie. Check angles, spray. It's the first tries and damn near gets the second, but Kenzie alive on 1 point of health. He's going for the fight as well. Hunter could get caught off. He stalled it though. Tapped again, going for the headshot. Hunter has read him so well. A smoke comes back. Will he plant in the midst of it? No, he's trying to bait him even closer. 10 seconds, Kenzie. Surely you won't win this clutch. He's going in for more. Hunter, the footsteps are heard. 3 seconds. Oh my God, he's done it. A 4K on the clutch. 1 point of health. Just to add that little extra salt in the wound. It's a 13-2, a 2-0 for Aurora. G2 come crashing out of the upper bracket.
That is the worst performance I have ever seen from G2 with this lineup. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like, not even competitive. We even said it on Ancient. It should have been 11-1. You come out on Nuke and you're down 2-10 on your map pick. I don't know what's happening right now for G2. Whether they're just using this tournament as heavy practice and they're not taking the game seriously or what, but to not even give us a show against Aurora, this is really concerning for G2. And for Aurora, they'll look at that game, and I don't even think themselves will know how that's actually happened. How you just bodied a Tier 1 team without even a competitive nature.
Yeah, it's just such a wild set of circumstances to be in. And I think you could have cut that off as the worst performance from G2 and just left it there, and that would have summed it up, I think, as the whole series. Like, even though you said earlier you thought that Aurora could have gone with a 2-0, and I know what you meant was it was going to be a close 2 maps, right? The G2 were going to bring that Tier 1 potential and that Tier 1 talent, that top 5 showing, and deliver it in this series. But Aurora just firing on all cylinders, showing their momentum, showing their run, and actually taking the fight back to the G2 in some sort of messed up world where they actually pull it off. But no one, not even us, saw this coming.
And I think, again, it comes down to the veto process. I think it was very wild to pick into Nuke against this squad. I look at them going up against a team like B&E, the Guild Eagles. I don't even know if they've got a chance in that series. Like, if they play the way they did today, I think Guild Eagles have a comfortable series. I think with the playstyle that they offer, with the lackluster form that we've seen from G2 dropping maps against Fluxo, nearly losing to the side of Sprout, and then just getting absolutely pumped by Aurora today, G2 could very easily be out of this tournament in the next game.
I'm not as convinced just because I haven't seen, I mean, just based on what we saw in CCT Online Finals number 4 from the Guild Eagles, that things can be dire for them all the same. But, I mean, look, you can't do much to argue in favor of G2 after what we've just seen from them in this series. Aurora press on to the upper bracket finals. And that is all you can really say at this point. It was a decimating matchup. It's one that closes out our 3rd of the day. Our 4th one, I'm hoping, is going to be a little bit more competitive. But I imagine we're going to have a bit of an extended break before we get into our final match between Big and 9 Pandas. So come back after that. We will close out our day here in the CCT Online Finals.
I have very complicated job, but I love simple things so much. One move. One push. One touch. One love. One click. One X-bet.
You look into your inventory and there's only... It's time to forget about this garbage. Here you will find everything to play with really cool skins. Open top cases. Upgrade dropped skins and turn your junk into a cool gun using the contract system. Every day, thousands of people upgrade their inventory with us. Hellcase.com. Look at yourself in a new way.
Want to win AK-47 Legion of Anubis, M4A1S Decimator, or AWP Atheris? Your time has come. Analyze and vote for the tournament outcomes. Earn points, and with dump skins from BO3GG. Don't hesitate. Vote on BO3.GG and claim your award.
Well, what are you doing? Divot. What do you think? I'm a paperclip? Mr. X to the Z. You need to quit browsing like a lame and get Opera GX. Because with GX mods, you can pimp your motherfucking browser. All you gotta do is click here, select the mod, and boom! New look, new sounds, new everything. It's not easy being a legend. Oh, not again. Change the mod now. Download Opera GX.